Hi everyone, Irene Haines, State Rep. I'm here right now in Colchester visiting with Priam Vineyards. Earlier this morning, I was with Colchester Brewery and Yankee Ciders. We're visiting the businesses today due to the legislation that we passed this past session in regards to the streamlining the liquor control. We're learning some great things about how good this has been for some people, not so good for others, so we're going to look to make some changes, and we're learning more every moment that we talk to these great businesses in my district.
The actual farm brewery, the tap room, sits in a building that's originally built in the early 1900s. When we took over this property, we put in a lot of new infrastructure to support not only the tap room, but this is where we brew the beer and we pelletize the hops. So
I think as far as being a brewery and also a working farm, to see some of the language change as far as maybe something specific towards hops in the farm brewery legislation. Hops would never be the largest component of your beer, but as you saw when we walked up to those fields, it's really labor intensive, a labor of love. You don't grow hops for the money, you grow hops to make great beer, and I'd like to see the language change around that, and then also possibly giving tax incentives to other breweries in Connecticut who don't grow their own ingredients to help support some of these smaller local farmers, maltsters, other hop growers to kind of keep the business in Connecticut and help sustain the agriculture of beer.
We are the first farm cidery tap room in Connecticut. We are very unique. There are two other farm cideries that produce cider, but they don't have a dedicated space. The biggest, most beneficial piece of legislation that came through in this previous session was the ability to sell cider by the glass. We are in a unique position, being both a farm winery and a farm cidery. Under the previous rules and regulations, we were allowed to sell our apple wine by the glass at 12% alcohol, but not our hard cider at 6%. And so that was a major sticking point for us, an issue for us, as we started to get this barn together. We only just opened on August 24th. So fortunately, the legislation had already passed. But if we had opened a year ago, for instance, we would have only been allowed to sell flights and bottles. We wouldn't actually be allowed to sell anyone a glass.
Since we've expanded the winery facility, we now have room we have probably the largest bar space of any of the wineries in Connecticut. We have 3 large bars. There's been, in the past 4 years, tremendous boost in our growth. We doubled the size of the winery, so literally physically doubled, adding our new event room and production space downstairs.
One of the messages that the Connecticut Vineyard and Winery Association wants to get out there is that given that we provide a couple of $100 million of revenue a year, $10 to $15 million worth of taxes, that the state continues to give us less than $75,000 to support us. The individuals in the Connecticut Vineyard Winery Association, as well as the other vintners, are investing our lives, our souls, and our pocketbooks in the state. We would like the legislators to just hear about treating us fairly, reinvesting in us, and we'll continue to reinvest in the state.
We are also lucky to have these great businesses here, particularly in my district. They are award-winning, both on the international scene as well as the regional scene. And I encourage you all to go visit them. This is what makes Connecticut great. It pushes our tourism, and our economic development is better and can be better because we have these great businesses here.